In this video, I'll answer the question, can Nvidia go to $500? Before I dive in, if you are new to investing or want to get better at investing, you're in the right place. Here at Tykr, we're all about clear, confident investing. If you have a moment, please hit that like button. And if you want to see more videos like it, please hit that subscribe button. All right, let's go ahead and dive in. We're going to use the 4M checklist, or in Tykr, we've got a tool powered by OpenAI that's called the 4M Confidence Booster. I'll kind of take a few minutes to break each M down, but this is inspired by Warren Buffett, Charlie Munger, and Phil Town. All right, so the first M is the math part of investing. We call it the margin of safety. Unfortunately, a lot of investors out there, especially on YouTube, Reddit, X, and the list goes on, they start and stop with the math part of investing. You can't do that. Start with the math, but move on to the business. So that leads to the second M, which is the meaning. That's the business model. How many revenue streams does a business have? And how scalable are those revenue streams? Scalable means you can increase your revenues faster than your liabilities. Biggest liability would be payroll. All right, the third M would be the moat. That's how a business stacks up against other companies in the same sector and industry. And that last M is the track record of the CEO. Now, doing homework on all 4Ms manually could take you hours, if not days. Tykr can fortunately reduce that down to seconds, but I'm gonna take a few minutes here and just kind of break each down and then lead up to that price. So stay to the end if you wanna see what my price target is. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at Tykr. I have Nvidia teed up here, and you can see this stock is on sale. Tykr's summaries really fall into three categories. You're either on sale, watch, or overpriced. And for context, only about 15% of the stocks make it to on sale. That's actually very hard to do. So Nvidia checks that box there. And then looking at their score, you can see this is 100 out of 100. The higher the score, the safer the investment. Getting to 100 out of 100, it's like less than 1%. I would say like less than 0.1% of the businesses in Tykr actually get that high. So the financials in Nvidia are the real deal. This is not a meme stock. Their financials are out of this world. Then we get over to the margin of safety, and you can see here, margin of safety is 80%. Now, to back up a second, to get to on sale, this rating here, you need a score greater than 50, equal or greater than 50, and a margin of safety equal or greater than 50%. So again, if you can get greater than 50 in both, that's on sale. So overall, this first M, margin of safety, the math part, that box is checked, looking really good. All right, let's talk about the business a little bit, the meaning. This is where a lot of people won't spend a lot of time. But to back up a second, Nvidia was founded in 1993, and where they really found momentum was within the video game industry. In order to power video games that have a lot of graphics, you needed strong enough chips, and nobody could really solve that problem as well as Nvidia, or AMD as a close second. But they did that for years. We're talking through the 90s, 2000s, 2010s is when they started serving a lot more businesses by lifting and shifting their chip capabilities. So they started serving data centers, companies that have data centers, companies that are manufacturing computers, robotics, and a whole other subsets within. But just to give you context, and this is really important to pay attention to, here's a list of the customers they serve today. So that includes Amazon, Meta, Microsoft, OpenAI, and Alphabet. Now, a few smaller companies, these are still big companies, but not as big as the first few I mentioned. You've got Dell, Cisco, HP, and Lenovo. And then you get into the automobile industry, and here's that list. You've got Tesla, Mercedes-Benz, Jaguar, Land Rover, Volvo, Polestar, Hyundai, Lucid, Audi, Volkswagen, and Kia. A lot of big customers here, and as those customers continue to produce more products, guess what? They need more chips. That's where Nvidia comes into play. So in this case, business model is rock solid. You can go ahead and check that box. Moving on to the moat. So how does Nvidia really stack up against other chip manufacturers? Well, I mentioned AMD. AMD is a good company, but they are losing market share to Nvidia. In fact, I used to own AMD for years, and I was watching what Nvidia was doing. They're just taking off like a rocket. They're taking more market share. What they're doing with their chips is far above what other chip manufacturers can do. So AMD is still okay. Then you got Intel, you got Micron, you got a whole list, and they're fine companies, but nobody's he's able to keep up with Nvidia at this time. So that third M, you can go ahead and check that box. They were definitely ahead of competition. Moving on to that last M, that's the track record of the CEO. Jensen Huang has been the founder and CEO since 1993, and I've watched a lot of videos with him. I do like his demeanor. I like his leadership style. He is a hard driver. He's somebody that really holds high accountability with his people, which is a good trait with CEOs. Nobody's cutting corners. You want to do things right. It's going to be a lot of work. And he really enforces that. That's kind of the attitude I get. People have said it can be challenging working for him, which that can be a good thing. I know other CEOs out there, it's the same thing. They're not letting you show up and go 50%. You got to be all in, and it's going to be hard work. Now, something I have to point out, with our 4M confidence booster, which is kind of a gamified experience, it takes about a minute to get through with whatever stock you want to use. We use OpenAI. That really saves you a ton of time. Now, there's one element of that where we use Glassdoor, and we did some homework on this, and there's other people that did homework too, that if you have higher Glassdoor ratings, you actually can see higher returns in the market. Essentially what that means is happier employees actually do produce better results in the market. So check this out. Looking at my screen, Nvidia has a 4.6 out of 5 on the company score and a 97% on the CEO approval. If you can get above 4 on the company score, that's usually pretty good. And if you can get above 80% on CEO approval, that's also really good. So in this case, Nvidia checks those boxes. They actually have a lot of happy people working for the company. So in summary, all 4Ms check out. This is a strong stock. But let's just go a step further here. Looking at that 4M score in Tykr, we're at a 92. If you can get above 80, that is typically a buy moment. Of course, only buy and sell stocks if they align with your own personal financial goals. But this stock here is strong across the board. 92, getting into the 90s with the 4M confidence booster in Tykr is actually very difficult. So Nvidia, doing great work there. All right, now let's get to what everybody's waiting for. Where can the share price go? So looking at the margin of safety over here, you can see the share price is 126 as of the recording of the video. Fair value is the target price. This is the target price in the next 10 years. It's a very conservative estimate. This is inspired by Warren Buffett as well as Phil Town. So we can see here the target price is $635. My opinion is Nvidia can go to 500 within the next 2 to 3 years. The big thing for you and I to pay attention to, and we can hold each other accountable or at least be notifying each other, is if we see any news related to Nvidia losing a customer. For example, if they were to lose Microsoft or lose Amazon or lose Google, that's when we could have problems. I don't see that happening, but this is what I do is I like to go into Tykr. I like to go to the news tab and check if there's any negative news related to losing a customer. Again, I don't see that happening for a multitude of reasons because their chips are really that good. And number two is when you have big corporate contracts, it's not like you're trying something out for a day and you'll switch to somebody else. Typically, you're signing contracts that can be 3, 5, 7, 10 years or longer. And that's exactly what Nvidia is doing with these big corporate customers, along with, all the automotive manufacturers I mentioned. So overall, I see Nvidia going to $500 within the next few years, but I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. If you want to buy and sell stocks with confidence, I invite you to join Tykr for free. And if you're interested, I do have a free training down below. You can go ahead and click the link for a 3-step plan to buy stocks with confidence. Thanks for checking out this video. We'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.